I guess Walter Hamada knows what he's doing after all. I guess Walter Hamada has a plan after all. Your propaganda has failed. Welcome back to Movies TV Mad and Thursday's edition of the Movies TV Mad Daily. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, Instagram and TikTok at Movies TV Mad 555. Yes, this is a positive video about DC live action and the future and the present, as the initial critical reactions of James Gunn's The Suicide Squad come flooding in, and they are 200%, not 100%, 200% positive. So let's give them a look. The Suicide Squad is probably the wildest, wackiest, bloodiest comic book movie I've ever seen. Very clear they let James Gunn run wild and not hold back. Definitely gives Harley one of her best scenes, period. I can't believe James Gunn made me fall in love with a rat named Sebastian. Been driving, etc., but the standouts here are King Shark, Nom, Ratcatcher 2, Polka Dot Man, Mo, Idris Elba, and Peacemaker stole every scene. I have some cues for Cena and Gunn about a very specific outfit choice. Summer of Cena continues. Kirsten continues. I've always said Margot Robbie was born to play Quinn. She just is Harley. Robbie just leans into and fully embodies her fun, absurd, playful, but always deadly spirit. We need more of Harley. What Gunn does great is he makes you care about so many obscure characters, just like in Guardians. The difference is that he's allowed to pull the rug out from under you and kill whoever he pleases, because it's not a Disney film. And it's always a bonus when you're watching a film that's not a Disney film, by the way. Kirsten, saw some asking about this. Lots of violence, the bloody, not the squeamish. This stuff doesn't bother me, but I can see some thinking a scene may feel a little unnecessarily gross, but the film knows what it is. Feels like people have wanted a hard R, and that's what you get. It's an R-rated movie. You don't fucking like it, don't watch it. End of story. So now we continue with some more reactions. Cow me if you get lost. I think that's meant to be, yeah, whatever you're called, I don't care. I recently got to see The Suicide Squad on IMAX, which was an ill experience. James Gunn took full advantage of the hard R, delivering a big bad of madness. That's the most James Gunn film I've ever seen. The best choice for a Suicide Squad WB film, IMO. IMAX, who laming on me? I mean the plug left, and I don't know who's talking to who. This got slid to me on a very short notice, to be honest. I don't know what he's talking about, but that's his response. Diego and Dallas, the Suicide Squad's first reactions have dropped, and it's getting a unanimously great reception. Praise for its bold approach, hilarious at moments, use of violence, unpredictability, James Gunn's overall vision. It's said to be one of the DCEU's best films yet. Faults. I'm very excited. Big screen leaks. The Suicide Squad had its first press screening today, and early reactions are extremely positive. I haven't seen it yet, but hope to do soon. Film poster. TM Sophia. The Suicide Squad, an action-packed fun time full of witness. Sorry, say that again. The Suicide Squad, an action-packed fun time full of wittiness, a perfect chaotic cast, this ensemble. It's gory, entertaining, and a wild ride. Definitely a step up from the first one. There's no need to start comparing now, is there, unless you're utterly toxic. Vanessa Armstrong. Got to see at James Gunn's The Suicide Squad tonight. A hilariously violent and heartfelt story that's surprising in all the right ways. Enjoyable for everyone. Hardcore DC Comics fans and newbies alike. Go see this movie. Nathaniel Bray. The Suicide Squad is not only my favourite DC movie, it's easily James Gunn's best film. It's insane, fun and filled with laugh, and it's exactly what Task Force X should be. He goes on, Margot Robbie, John Cena, Idris Elba, David Dastmalchian, Danielle Melchior and Joel Kinnaman were all awesome. This is a must-see. The film Poser, T.M. Gabriella. The Suicide Squad is a gory and explosive time that perfectly captures the chaos and violence of the source material. The cast is excellent together and there's never a dull moment. Unexpected and fun, one of DC's best. Wow. This is just great, isn't it? Eric Goldman, I'm not a fan of this guy, but this is what he had to say. Yeah, I love the Suicide Squad. Just delightfully, gleefully goes all out with mayhem, gore, profanity and naughtiness, but then has some really heartfelt moments that you can invest in. I love the whole cast, a whole lot. He's asked about the comedy. Eric says it's hysterical. JeffDMovieRankings.net had the chance to see the Suicide Squad a few weeks ago, and my goodness, was it awesome. It explodes off the screen. You'll love the characters, epic scale, awesome action. It's beyond deserving of the R rating. By the way, wild stuff. People are going to love it. See it in IMAX. I don't think I'm even able to see it in IMAX around here where I live, but we will see about that. Cara Warner, I'm sure she's not related to Warner Brothers, surely. So this skeptic loved the Suicide Squad. It is balls to the wall bonkers in a very entertaining ways. I.e., if you're wondering whether James Gunn and that super rad at Suicide Squad WB cast would truly go there with the material and the R rating, indeed they do. Everyone is insanely fun to watch in this, but Margot's Harley and Daniella's Ratcatcher 2 are my faves. Idris and Cena's banter, third place, not to mention a rocking soundtrack. Drew Taylor, at James Gunn's The Suicide Squad is gloriously insane and so fun. After watching it, you'll think you might have dreamed it. Everyone is excellent and deeply committed to the material and its singular mood and wild ass aesthetic. Can't wait to ride this roller coaster again. L. George, The Suicide Squad is a blast. Great action, lots of humour, fun twist with an awesome soundtrack. James Gunn does it again. L. George. Also, the Suicide Squad cast chemistry is off the charts with everyone working at top gear. People will fall in love with King Shark, but everybody has their chance to shine. Watching at James Gunn wickedly unleash on an R-rated superhero movie, I wondered why it didn't happen before. Wow. Just very complimentary, very positive. Ian Sandwell, any doubts you might have over the Suicide Squad will vanish after the outrageous opening. It's a violent, hilarious and unpredictable blockbuster and everyone will have their own favourite from the terrific cast. It's just so entertaining that you'll want to see again instantly. Wow, it's all very positive, isn't it? And I'm very happy about that, BD. Brandon Davis, BD. The Suicide Squad is absolutely insane, violent as hell, raunchy, unforgiving. James Gunn is fully unleashed. It's sometimes overwhelming. It has moments of heart, humour, action, emotion, all of it relentless. There's nothing like it. Damn. Wow. This is very good. The film Poser, have we just done that? Is this a new take that he's had? I think I've just read this anyway. The Suicide Squad is a film that delivers on its promise. It's fun, very chaotic, extremely violent, hilarious and keeps you on the edge of your seat. This is exactly how a Suicide Squad movie should look. The cast chemistry is superb and allows everyone a chance to shine. Yeah, I don't know if I've already read that. Fico, right? This is his name. I'm not being horrible. It's F-I-C-O. Check it out. It's Fico. Juno, I think he's Latino. The Suicide Squad is fantastic, a no-holds-barred superhero comics bonanza, unpredictable in story, unique in style, and full of risks. It's also violent and hilarious. Action set pieces are insane. Idris Elba, Margot Robbie, and the rest of the cast are awesome. At James Gunn has done it again. James Gunn replies by thanking Fico. Congrats, sir. Keep them coming. Wow. Eric Davis, we know Eric Davis, don't we? I had the best time watching The Suicide Squad. It is a swing for the fences kind of comic book movie and I love that. It's big, bold, visually stunning. You will see James Gunn's horror roots splattered all over this thing. It's violent but hilarious, angry but also very sweet. Idris Elba's Bloodsport and David Dastmalchian's Polka Dot Man are major standouts for me. Bloodsport has the coolest weapons. I also thought this was the best we've seen of Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. Her journey in this film is actually quite lovely and quite bloody. Wow! Look, bring on this fucking movie. I can't wait to see the full finished version, James Gunn's pure vision for this movie. And these reactions have just, you know, quenched my appetite. Now, Complex Pop Culture have actually done an article getting all these reactions together. Should we check out if we've missed any reactions? I think we have read most of them. Look, brilliant. Early reactions for James Gunn's The Suicide Squad are in. Early reactions for the James Gunn directed movie The Suicide Squad have arrived, and the folks got to see it really enjoyed it. Reactions from critics and journalists were pretty positive, with many saying the film was violent, gory, chaotic, funny, unique, and some great acting. It definitely seems like the movie fully utilised its R rating. Listen, I expect people to criticise this negatively for one thing, you know, the blood and gore and violence, and saying, was there any need? He thought there was a need, so there was a need. Any doubts you might have over the Suicide Squad will vanish after, right, so we've read that one. Let's just see if there's anything here. The movie stars Idris Elba as Bloodsport. It tells, right, we've got all that. Let's have a look. Let's see if we've seen anything. Right, yeah, I think these are all the reactions we've already seen. Wilson BFTV. Thank you, I don't want your fucking advertisement. Oh my God. Right, let's go away from this. It doesn't matter. That was a waste of time. Right, so I have read to you all the reactions of the Suicide Squad. So what do I make of that? Well, look, just fantastic. Just fantastic. Listen, after seeing the 90-minute test screening, I was very excited for this movie. But this movie, the excitement for this movie went back for me when I heard James Gunn was involved. Let's again discuss how vital that Walter Hamada approached this man to do this. They didn't waste any time. They know Gunn is brilliant at doing these films. He has a unique take and vision and kind of ideas for superhero movies. And the two he's done with Disney have really worked, but they were never James Gunn unleashed, because James Gunn can't be unleashed on Disney. This is why his future's with Warner and DC live action, because he can do whatever he wants. He is going to become very important to the DC live action universe, and you better get used to him being around, because once he's done with Marvel, once he's done with Guardians Volume 3, and let's see what happens with that film, because I've got a few suspicions that think the road is not going to be easy for James and Disney there. I still think there's some hard feelings between him and actually the mouse, not Kevin Feige. He claims Kevin's still his friend, and I have to take him at his word for that. But when that's done, if that is done, he will return to DC to make more movies, to run the Suicide Squad world, do more Peacemaker, do more Harley. You know, people love this movie. The people who have seen this, the critics. Now, we all say we don't care what critics say, but they're important whether we like it or not. I don't listen to them. I don't go to Rotten Tomatoes to see who's saying what. But this is important. Every DC movie needs these kind of reactions now. It is so important. Whether you're James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, Matt Reeves' The Batman, James Wan's Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, the Flash movie, they all need positivity around them. They need the critics on their side, and they need the broader audience on their side. Now, Snyderverse fans can say what they want about going after the MCU audience. The MCU audience is just the broader audience. It is a business, do you understand? It is a business, not a fucking charity. Now, if you can bring people like James Gunn and Matt Reeves in to do this, their thing, bring in the broader audience, but still make great movies. And I think, actually, this is what Ann Sarnoff and Walter Hamada are going for, and I think this is brilliant. This film's going to make an incredible, ridiculous amount of money because it's going to have rewatchability. I don't think Black Widow has much rewatchability, and that's very, very interesting. Now, I'm really happy about those reactions, but my friend at DC World said something very interesting. And let's go up to my timeline. Yeah, DC World, this is great. He talks about post-credit scenes. Post-credit scenes are always good. And I can tell you the Suicide Squad has one. Stay till the end. Trust me, you will want to see it. Wow, 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 wow. We have a post-credit scene. Is there more than one? Well, he says there's one. Maybe they'll add the others when it's properly released at the end of July and on the 5th of August in the US. But he says you'll want to see it. But why will we want to see it? Is there a cameo? Is it to do with the movie? What is going on here? Are we going to see a DCEU established character? I don't know. All I know is that the Suicide Squad universe is really, if any hero, if any caped hero, if he belongs and should cameo in this, it's got to be Batman. What version of Batman? I don't know. Maybe Ben Affleck. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm really excited. And, you know, these reactions show you what's going on. I've heard so many people say, oh, the Marvel got to the multiverse first before DC, because I know you people will use any excuse to bash WB and DC. So I've got a little bit of an education for you. Time to sit fucking down. This is Crisis on Infinite Earths. This is a multiversal story, the ultimate multiversal story. But you're going to say that's nothing to do with the DCEU, but in fact it is. This is the origin story for Walter Hamada's and Greg Berlanti's multiverse strategy. This is the origin story, and this is going to fit nicely with the Flash movie that's going to be which is being directed by Andy Muschietti himself. This is why Ezra Miller's and Grant Gustin's Flashes meet in this. This is the origin story of this multiverse strategy. So fuck you with your fake propaganda and your fake agenda, because DC got there first. And Arrowverse will be canon after Flash. So you see, you're wrong, you lose again. So you can kick your feet up in hate and anger because the Snyderverse isn't being restored right now, and I love the Snyderverse, but I'm fed up of your fake bullshit propaganda. DC did the multiverse before the MCU, so up yours. It is a very, very exciting time to be a DC fan, and these initial reactions are fantastic. Now, on our final part of today's Movies TV Mag Daily, we're going to talk about the evolution of the DCEU. The evolution of the DCEU is very interesting. I've always said that the films are definitely some of the best CBMs ever made, without being the greatest franchise, connective franchise. But saying that, if you start off with Man of Steel, BVS, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, and even Justice League or Zack Snyder's Justice League, whichever one you choose to embrace, it really doesn't matter. Because basically, it does. Listen, Zack Snyder's Justice League doesn't contradict Man of Steel, BVS, Suicide Squad, or even Wonder Woman. It's all there. So that is a great interconnected franchise up until and after Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's then when things go a bit different because Zack was pushed off the franchise. But if you just can have a little bit of amnesia and forget that Amber Heard's Mira is got a really dystopian, well-spoken English accent, and she hasn't in James Wan's Aquaman. You can even use James Wan's Aquaman as canon to the Snyder Cut and all the movies. And then you've got Shazam. Shazam does a lot of gives you a lot of Easter eggs, doesn't it? For BVS and MOS and for Snyder's universe. So really, if you watch Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, Zack Snyder's Justice League, Aquaman and Shazam, there's actually some really great connective tissue there. Now, you go from those films, you go to Birds of Prey, which has got a lot of connectivity to the Suicide Squad movie. Although you don't see anyone apart from Harley, her story continues in that film. Right, and then you go to Wonder Woman 84, which is pretty much set before the other DCEU movies, but it's still Diana. It's still Diana. It's still the Diana we know and love. It's still got, it's got the beautiful line music. Is it a beautiful line music from BVS at the end? So really, when we look when we look at the DCEU and its evolution, it's a very interesting evolution, because we've got these lots of films that people call rubbish and bad, but actually the DCEU movies are not bad. The problem with them is that this studio and this company need to be making a lot more money than they are. They have made a decision that they're going to make the whole multiverse canon, and everything is going to be connected with post-credit scenes, cameos, Easter eggs, like the MCU. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, when I look at the evolution of the DCEU as we look through these movies and then look what happens next, the next evolution is the multiverse strategy. You see, something interesting is happening here. Instead of it being a carbon copy of the MCU, it can take the good things from the MCU, the interconnectivity, the cameos, the Easter eggs, the continuing kind of thread, but it can still do something a lot better than the MCU. Make the individual movies matter. Don't just make them a building block. I think they can do that, because James Gunn's The Suicide Squad isn't a building block. The Batman isn't a building block. It's more than what I'm saying is they're more than building blocks. They're building blocks, but they're great individual movies as well. It's same with Aquaman. It's a building block, but it's going to be a great individual movie. Name me one movie that won't be focused on the movie, but will be a building block as well. This, as I said before, this is a very exciting time to be a DC fan. And so when I look at the evolution of the DCEU, I'm quite excited, because despite what these fucking idiots say, the DCEU is not a bad, disastrous calamity of a franchise. Now, for the studio, it's been a nightmare because of the problems they had with Snyder and what they had to do and the Snyder Cut and everything else. But, you know, from our point of view, go watch those movies. There's a lot of classic, best ever CBMs there. Man of Steel is unique. BVS is unique. Suicide Squad is entertaining. I've been through this before. These are not bad movies. Some of them are okay, and some of them are some of the best CBMs you'll ever see. It's a unique take. What's done is done. We are moving forward now with this multiverse strategy. And I couldn't be more excited. And so should you be. And just a little reminder of what I was talking about earlier. DC did the multiverse before the MCU. So every time you make a hot take against WB and DC and try and bring it down, I will be there to expose your lies and your fake fucking propaganda. This has been the Movies TV Mad Daily. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. I will see you in the next video. This is the place to be for all DC live action news, gossip and talking points and opinion. This will be the place to be for DC fandom, so do not go anywhere. Comment down below, like, share and subscribe. Please subscribe if you're watching and you like what you see. Tap that little bell so you never miss this perfection. Instagram @MoviesTVMad555. Same with TikTok, Twitter @MoviesTVMad. This is the new world. This is something really exciting is happening. We are about to destroy the MCU, and I can't wait to see its realization, because there's a lot of people out there who want us to fail, and when we don't fail, just like when they see these great reactions to James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, they're going to be mighty upset, and I can't wait to taste their salty tears. So I will see you in the next video. Until then, it's been the Movies TV Mad Daily. See you again soon.